out there. Are you or have you been wondering about starting a rabbit farm? Have you been thinking about it? If yes is your answer, then this is the right place for you, because I'm giving you the vital information you need right now to make you start on a very good note. Hi, my name is Modine and this is Rabbit and More, where I share everything with relations to rabbit farming in Ghana and Africa. Now, we are focusing on Ghana and Africa because of lack of information that is out there for this type of farming. Over there in the West, you can get a lot of information, but for us in Ghana, usually it is limited, and I'm dedicated to sharing every information to you out there. So this year, January 1st, I started my first rabbit farm. You can see the channel. I've documented every bit of it from where I started buying 3 rabbits, and that led me to meeting a lot of farmers. And meeting a lot of farmers means that I discussed a lot of things with several farmers, and now we have a great platform on Telegram and on Clubhouse where we share diverse information and we learn from each other in a very good way. That was when I realized that, oh, there are some good farmers in Ghana who actually love sharing information and are actually also very passionate about seeing the next farmers grow. Those who are really passionate about it grow. Now, I'm going to give you the key factors you need to make your next venture a success. So if you're trying to go into rabbit farming, this is the number one thing you need to do. Please try to get adequate information on the industry you want to go into. That is number one. You have to learn about rabbits. You have to understand how they are. Now, one way you can do that is to do it on the go by buying them and starting to raise them and trying to get that insight. And so my first tip is to start small. That way you can learn in a very good way at fast pace, and you can take your time to ask the necessary question. And so if you've been watching my videos, it always seems I'm always having the right questions to ask these farmers, because I'm simply also keeping them. I know the challenges I'm going through, etc. And so when I go to some of these farmers, I know exactly what to ask them. And sometimes whenever they made mention of something that haven't come to my mind or doesn't cross my mind yet, I wait and I ask them and I probe more and I try to find out. And so the number one thing to do is to gain knowledge in that field. You can't just go into a field green. No. Try to research in your area how many farmers there are, what type of rabbit foods are available in your area. These are very important things you must do. Learn about rabbits. What is a doe? What is a buck? All these things are very, very important. You know, how long do rabbits take to give birth? What are some of the common diseases? Are rabbits better kept in the shade? Are they better kept in the hot sun and all kind of stuff? I just spotted an apple. So this is like an apple tree. It's starting to give us some fruits and all that, but not matured yet. Anyway, off topic, let's go back. So these are some of the things. I have my cameras up here, so I'm trying to like watch them because I'm somewhere in the forest right now. And so these are some of the things you need to take advantage of. Look at your locality, look at your environment, and meet the right people who are into it and start asking questions. You know, there is no harm in appearing as someone who knows nothing, because guys, if you don't know it, just come up front and say you do not know it. That is one way you are going to grow, because people will be willing and open to teach you. And once they also share with you, go online. There are available information, and go and do your own research and also learn more. The more information you have, the better it becomes for you. Second tip is that whenever you are ready to buy the rabbits, one of the very most important things is this: you need to think clearly what you want to do. Are you going to raise rabbits for petting after doing all your research and all that stuff, or you want to go into it for the economic value of it? Do you want to raise rabbits because you want to sell them for meat, or you have a totally different plan? There are several other ways you could go into it. Maybe you want to raise rabbits so that you have a taste of how they are as animals and how to raise them, so that you can go and use, let's say maybe you are someone who is a nutrition expert who wants to understand rabbits and what they eat, so that you can come up with a perfect nutritional balanced diet food to sell for the rest of the market. So because of that, you want to raise a rabbit first before you get all this insight, and you are able to do it, so that anytime you create a food, you can also link it and give it to your rabbits to also taste it and eat it and see how it is, see how they perform before you sell it to the masses. So these are diverse ways you can go into. So you need to know what type of rabbit farming you want to do. Now, once you get that information on what type of rabbit farming you want to do, then you proceed to searching for the right farm to want to buy from. Now, why that is important is this: depending on your environment is very important. If you want to keep them indoors, right? You want to keep them indoors, then you need to probably get the rabbits from someone who also practices the same way. Now if you want to keep them outdoors, you have to get them from someone who practices the same way. Now these are animals that don't do well with stress at all. They do not do well with stress, and so you always want to get them and also type of sort of confine them in the similar environment they were used to previously before you gradually make like huge changes, you know. And that leads up to the third point. Now the third point is the food. Now like I said, you have to research in your area where you are getting what type of food abounds over there, what you can feed the rabbits, etc. Now once you decide that, then you are like, okay, I'm going to get it from farmer A or farmer B. Now wanting to get these things from farmer A or farmer B, you need to find a farmer that is ready to also educate you on what they've been doing with their rabbit farmer, with their rabbit farm, yes, and the rabbits on the farm. You need to make sure that these farmers are ready and willing to share information with you even after you pay them that money and get the rabbits. It's very, very important because it is their rabbit. Until you've given your rabbits start producing and you get the first generation, second generation, they are not your actual rabbits. You are still leaning on what he has done before, and so every record he kept on his farm based on those animals he sold to you, they still affect you, you know. And it only starts, you only start getting a correct data when you have your first, second, third generation. That is when you can boast and say, okay, now from this era on, these are my own makings, this is what I developed, this is what I am into. And then you can actually now keep your data according to the way you want to raise your farms and then maybe the changes you've made, etc. So you need to get it from someone who actually keeps actual data and will be available to give you any information when you need them after you've made the purchase. It is very, very important. Do not just go there, buy the rabbit and go, and then you can't talk to the person. If you go to any farmer who is not willing to share information with you and is being dodgy with their information and selling you only good points, do not buy from them. Just walk away. I'm telling you this on authority. Buy from someone who is honest with you and is able to share vital information with you, because that is what you need. And the fourth point I'm going to go into, or maybe the fifth point, I don't know right now, is that, guys, rabbit farming can be polarizing. Yes, although it is fun, the rabbits grow at a faster rate, everything works so well all the times, you know, you can just buy 3 rabbits and in no time you have a lot. Yes, it is true, you can raise them so quickly, but the same way, if you don't gain the knowledge, guys, mortality is so high at the same time. That is the honest truth. Mortality is so high. Now if you don't learn proper systems, that's why I say start small. Get maybe 2 rabbits, 2 does and a buck, or just 1 doe, 1 buck from good farms after you've made your research. Or maybe that's all you need to grow it into everything you can think about. But when you start small, you'll be able to know that, oh, I started with this cage, this is the problem I faced with this type of caging system, the challenges it posed to me, raising the rabbits after some time, their kids, these were the issues I started facing, etc. Then you can work your way out and improving, because trust me guys, it is very easy to raise 1 or 2 rabbits, but once they start growing and the population starts increasing, that is where you're going to see what you've really gotten yourself into. So on a fun basis, when you have less than 10, it is something you can just be playing around with and doing in your backyard. It is always very normal. But if you plan to go on a higher scale where you're going to have, like, let's say above a 56 doe unit, 100 doe unit, etc. going, be prepared for real trouble, because a lot of things are going to happen. You know, you're going to have at any given point in time, let's say if you have, let's say 200 doe unit or 100 doe unit, you can have as much as 50 kids, 50 rabbits being littered every week based on your production plan, etc. You know, and this is going to be overwhelming. It's a full-time job at that time. And so if you don't have the technical know-how to like keep proper data and also make sure that you are following everything and observing them very well, guys, things are going to go very wrong for you. And this is what leads me into this other point, that observation is key in rabbit farming. Do not make that mistake of just saying that they are pretty animals, so you just go and buy them and you feed them, and whatever happens, happens. No, guys, you need to observe them critically, because in as much as other farmers will share information with you. It is information shared based on their own personal observation. And so if you want to be unique, if you want to see what works for your farm, you need to do observation on your farm and understand your rabbits and what works for them and what doesn't work for them. There's been so many conflicting information about what is good for the rabbit and what is not good diet wise. It is simply because other people have been able to test things within the rabbit field and they know what works for their rabbit and what doesn't work. But across board, there is something you would find that everybody keeps saying that, oh, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, and so on and so forth. And so you pick those basic ones that are like the standard line for everybody and experiment with everything else on top, and maybe you might be the one who comes up with a unique formula that nobody else have seen. You get it? Buy your rabbits from a very good farm. Make sure the farmer is ready to support you. Make sure you learn and be observant and do everything in a very good way, and you will be fine. Also know that it is not a quick get rich it's not a quick scheme to get rich. You know, it isn't. You would have to put in some work and you see it grow steadily. Now, making money in rabbit farming as well as an economic tool is not only about selling rabbits. There are other factors that comes to it, but that will be in another video. I'm going to share a video with you on how to do free marketing with some of the internet's best tools you can think about. YouTube, Google, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the other ones. We did all these topics. We've already discussed them thoroughly. So if you're someone who enjoys listening to like a podcast while driving, while going to the school, while catching the train, wherever you are, just try to go onto Clubhouse and listen to some of these things we are doing. And I hope I've been able to bring you value. There might be some things I left behind. Comment in the comment section below, ask me questions, and I will always answer you. My name is Modine, and this is Rabbit and More, where all I do is about rabbit farming. Guys, do well to subscribe to the channel, share the video with other people who are interested, and let's grow this community in a very good way. Peace and have a good one.